Have you guys seen the roar on social media about Michael Bisping's eye? I've had friends message me, friends that run combat sports pages message me and say things like, did you see that Michael Bisping hid the fact that he didn't have an eye from the Athletic Commission for all those years? Or did you see how Bisping got one over on the Athletic Commission? What's so shocking about what happened? It's the same eye. There's nothing different. It's the same eye that we used to see when he would broadcast on for UFC Tonight. It's the same eye. What is so shocking about this? I don't understand it. I don't know if people don't understand how half prosthetics work. His eye's still there. He just has something to cover it up. The whole point of that clip wasn't even about the fact that he got one over on the Athletic Commission. And first off, he didn't. The whole thing about sunglasses came up because Michael Bisping's co-host was wearing a pair of dark yellow shades, and Michael Bisping decided to take the first 6 minutes of the podcast and trash him about it, which ran into the fact that the co-host used to trash Bisping for wearing dark shades inside at press conferences and looking like a scumbag. So Michael Bisping said, do you want to know why I always wear dark shades? Boop! The eye. But it's not the fact that he didn't have an eye. It's the same eye. It's looked exactly the same since he got that oil put in it. It's looked exactly the same. It's always been that messed up. The reason why he wore those shades isn't because he didn't have an eye. It's because he didn't want a talking point on the fact that his eye looked like that. The Athletic Commission knew about it. They saw it. He had to go through his pre- and post-fight medicals. They know it was disclosed, but it was signed off on by a doctor. So they adhered to it. What Michael Bisping was trying to avoid is the talking point of people seeing that eye. The more that you see that eye, the more it's going to be talked about. The more people are going to ask, hey, are we sure this guy should be fighting? I mean, look how bad that eye looks. I mean, the eye literally looks so bad that all of social media, all of combat sports fans thinks he doesn't have an eye. It's the same eye that we saw for ever since he got that oil put in. It's the same eye. Goodness gracious. It's absolutely ridiculous. He was not trying to hide it. He didn't want the talking point about it because he didn't want people asking questions. He didn't want the Athletic Commission to rethink their decision and then revert and not let him fight. The same way that his eye's blowing up in social media now is the same way that he was afraid it was going to blow up back then. The same way when Michael Bisping called out Max Holloway slurring his words, which isn't uncommon in MMA. I'm not even a UFC fighter, and I slur my words. I haven't even made it to the top stage of CTE and brain damage, and I'm already experiencing a slightly slurred voice because of fighting. So it's not something that's uncommon, but it was a talking point, and it was a big enough talking point that it blew up in social media and ended up getting an entire fight canceled. That's what Michael Bisping was trying to avoid. That's why he wore dark shades inside. What's so shocking? It's the same eye.